Yeah, yeah. I didn't know exactly. I didn't know that I wanted to be like a filmmaker. Like I thought I wanted to be a documentary filmmaker, which in
Hmm.
some case I became because I did. I have made documentaries, but as I grew older, I realized that I wanted to tell narrative stories.
Okay.
So, yep.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So prior to you becoming a full filmmaker, knowing that that's what you wanted to do full time, what other careers or fields did you have some interest in possibly? Or was
Well,
it?
when I went to college,
Hmm.
I minored in social work. I
Okay.
kind of played around with the idea of going to be a social worker if this thing didn't work out. Um,
Right.
but I haven't done any social work aside from like internships and stuff like that. But my films do kind of tackle some of the situations that fall under that category. So,
Right. So some of the social issues and address that.
hmm
So if you don't mind me asking, what you minored in social work? What was your major in college?
film, video, and
Okay.
media studies actually was my major in college.
Okay.
Yep.
So you studied this. So are you now a full-time filmmaker? Like, can you completely make your living off of that, or is it still, just like many other things, it's still, well, this is kind of I'm working my way up to it.
That is my ultimate goal to be a full time filmmaker. Right now, I do have a full time job,
Okay.
um, and I'm also still a freelance videographer. So, my goal is to be a full time filmmaker.
Okay.
Not quite there yet.
Right. Nice. Nice. What's your favorite part of the process of the filmmaking and even the videography from, I'm sure you video production, putting other people's stories together. There's been some memorable jobs. I'm sure that's like, okay, this was really cool and this is really fun to put together. But from the writing to the editing to the scripting to the casting, what's like your favorite part? What's your thing?
Um, well, I would say honestly, truly, really,
Hmm.
from beginning to end, I love everything about filmmaking, from writing the story to finally getting on set that first day and shooting.
Hmm.
Even the million and one stressors that it comes with. Um, I love it from beginning to end, to sitting in the editing room, to finally getting it out. And then you get it out and you know all the mistakes that you made
Right.
and you're looking at it
And the camera
and
shakes and
yeah. And you're and people are watching it,
hmm.
and that's the moment where you just have to kind of let it go and just be like, hey, this is
Right.
it,
This is
so yeah, I love everything about it, from beginning to end. I guess I would say I like writing,
okay.
but that's probably the biggest challenge, is actually writing the story.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and that is not only is probably the biggest part, but the most important part. Because without the writing part, there probably is no project most of the time. Because very rarely do we just pick up a camera and just start going.
We couldn't do
Uh,
improv,
right,
but
right. You could do improv, but even there, that still has to. It's like give me a scenario, give me a place, give me a
yeah, I need
time. So
something.
someone
So
has to come up with something at some point.
right.
Uh, So, you said you started with documentaries, and this film that we're going to talk about in a little bit is your first feature film. Tell us about some of your first films and your first film, your debut film, As Far.
The very first film that I ever wrote, uh, shot, and edited was called As Far. It was a coming of age story about a teenage girl who was dealing with some life decisions that she had to make, kind of in her urban situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I actually wrote that my senior year of college. Um, and when I got out, I was actually working at Youthville, teaching. I was teaching a class kind of like the one that I took. I was teaching a video production class, and so my mentor, he was the one who hired me. He was like, I told him about the story. He was like, well, you can hold auditions here. And he just started kind of helping me out with the process. And from there, we held auditions. People came. We cast it. And with, like, no money and just people just pretty much believing in the story, we created it.
Okay.
And so yeah, that was As Far. I want to say that was a struggle when we first created it, just because I was really new to filmmaking.
Right.
Period. So I had never ever put together any type of film. I mean, I did. It was I did like promos and short videos in college, but nothing that was like a narrative story from beginning to end that I actually had to edit. And I ended up just kind of sitting with it for, I want to say, almost a year.
Right.
Until one day this organization called Raw Detroit, Raw, they're natural born artists. They basically come to different cities in the United States, and I believe they even have some venues kind of overseas, but they reach out to artists in each city, and they kind of allow them to host an artist showcase.
Right.
And so they reached out to me, and at the moment I was just kind of sitting on As Far, and then when they reached out to me, I was like, all right, well, I can use this to premiere As Far. And I did. So I finally finished it, and it rolled out December 13th of 2016 at the Raw Artist Showcase.
Okay. Nice. And that was your first feature film, your first debut film. And from there, and that's, I'm assuming, where you like fell in love with it and said, you know what, I want to keep on doing this. Yeah.
I already knew that, I wanted to keep doing it. So, I didn't think that I would shoot a feature film next, though.
Right.
So that was a little wild and crazy of me. I don't know if I would recommend that to anybody to just
jump right into a feature film.
Yeah, that was really insane.
Yeah.
So
and you hear stories of they say that almost every film you make breaks your heart a little bit. So what about that process? And we'll talk about, we'll actually have the trailer for that film queued up before we really get into it. But what about the process of filmmaking and creating a full-length 90-minute to 2-hour feature film? Is that just, that makes a lot of directors, or maybe makes a lot of people who want to be aspiring filmmakers say, you know what, maybe this isn't for me?
Okay, well, I'll just start with, my little story about Chasing After You. What ended up happening was that I said I actually wanted to write a series. But after actually doing As Far, I was like so happy, so grateful, that I was like, I want to make a film, about God.
Right.
But, I also wanted to create a love story. So I came up with this series called Chasing After You, and I wrote part 1, part 2, and then we ended up casting for it. And after we had fully casted, I had decided, with my group of people, with the group of people that were helping me with it, that we were going to do a feature film, because it was turning into something even bigger.
Right.
So we did that. I fully cast it, and I didn't even have the script finished, which was, I don't recommend it ever. Not a good thing. So I remember, like, probably the night before, I was over my cousin's house, who just so happened to be a writer and author as well, and she was the script supervisor, and her husband's ran audio. He was the audio producer. So they kind of helped me finish the script out that night, and then we held the first table read, and from there, we started shooting. We had lots of complications. From I recasted like half of the cast.
Oh wow.
Just based on like commitment issues, and it was just so many things that I didn't know that I learned from shooting that film. We shot it in the summer of 2017, which at the time seemed like the hottest summer ever. And and we used my cousin, the audio producer. We used his church. He worked at the church, and so he allowed us to like film there majority of the time. So most of the film is actually at that church, and so from there, we had extremely hot days. We had times where the camera was overheating.
Wow.
We were so young, and just young in what we were doing. We had no idea at all. And so I would say a year and a half almost passed by. And then I finally, just kind of buckled down and edited the whole thing. Because initially, it was supposed to be the group of us that were working on it. We were all going to edit it. And they did, but it just became like too much. It was overwhelming, and I was over it. I was going to like scrap the film,
Right.
and just be like, I can't do this. But I pushed through, finished the edit, and on August 20th of this year, we finally premiered it. We did 3 film festivals. The Trinity International Film Festival with Marshall and Lazar Favors. We did the ICU Awards with Terry Lee Chandler, and we did the Las Vegas Premiere Film Festival. Wow. And so with those 3, they premiered them as well, and then I had an official premiere at the Bel Air on August 20th.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just a long, drawn-out process. It was really insane, and not to mention we didn't have any money. Right. So that's why it was extremely insane because all of these people were dedicating their time, and these people had kids. It was a lot. So, but I learned so much from doing a feature film. Then I feel like I'm way more prepared than I was obviously in 2017. So
Right. Yeah, and you talk about 2017 like it was so long ago, but that was only 2 summers ago. But just in that summer, in that short amount of time, you learned so much experience just through trial and error and through doing it and going through the process. So that's amazing. And of course, I'm sure the circuit of film festivals that you did was another learning process that you went through, because I'm pretty sure there's some politics and some red tape you have to get through with those. We're talking about a lot about this film for a little while now, so we're going to show the people the trailer for Chasing After You right now, and then we're going to come back and really dive into what we just watched. So here is the trailer for Mrs. Page feature film Chasing After You right here on Live in the D with Mr. Beebe. Check it out.
Happy birthday, dear Elise. Happy birthday to you.
The scriptures say here in Mark chapter 4, verse 15, some people are like seed along the path where the word is sown. And as soon as they hear it, Satan comes and takes away the word that was sown in them.
What is wrong?
I told you, you can't do this no more.
See, the devil likes to use our past to distract us from what God has planned for the future.
How much you have?
Less than yours.
Like 12 pounds. The crazy thing about it is that I love you. And you do me like this?
I messed up so bad this time.
Your life is not what you understand in your mind, but what you believe in your heart. And sometimes we gotta let go of what we know and embrace what is yet to come.
I'm going to Texas. I want you and Ryan to come with me.
You doing all this stuff, Elise, and you're not telling me nothing.
So you keeping yourself occupied as usual?
I thought I told you about him and his knucklehead brother.
This is my life, Elise.
And know that the love of Jesus is confirmed that whatever you are going through, it is not the end. You gotta believe that everything is gonna be all right.
I don't belong to anybody but God.
It's live.
Live
Live.
in the D with Mr.
BB.
BB.
It's Live in the D with Mr. BB every Thursday at 9 a.m. right here on WVI 107.3 Radio We Can See. All right, we're back. We are back. You are still sitting live in the D with Mr. BB. That was the trailer for the feature film Chasing After You, directed and written by Miss Paige Brianna, who is sitting here with us now. And I gotta ask, did you edit that trailer yourself too?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Oh.
wow. So not only did you do, and you did all the editing for the movie?
I did about 75% of it, yes.
Okay, wow. So,
But I did have some help. So.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that was really well edited. Like you can tell. I mean, I've been kind of researching filmmaking myself, and they say that you have to tell this story, this synopsis of the story within a minute and a half to make people want to watch the movie. So that was just really well put together.
Thank you.
Especially,
The trailer was the hardest part. I
Yeah.
mean, the trailer usually is the hardest part.
right? Yeah, that's what they say. So it's really well put together. So
That was
Right
pretty
from her
interesting
mouth, it
too.
was the hardest part.
it is the hardest
That's what they
part.
say, and she said it.
She said it, yeah. All right, so we got it from an actual director that we can talk to. So, again, you said this was a movie, you wanted to make a love story, but we want to also make something that talked about today's values and talked about God.
Mm-hmm.
So was anything here pulled from maybe your personal life, or this is just kind of a cool story you hear, you like that, you thought, this needs to be told?
Well, first, I just really wanted to tell a story. Like I said, a love story.
Mm-hmm.
Chasing After You is a romance. I mean, it's not a romance, but it
Right.
is a love story.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got the idea from just, in my personal life, a lot of times I do see two perspectives of the church.
Right.
We see the outside looking in perspective is that church people are extremely churchy, and then we see the inside looking out, and it's that church people are extremely judgmental. And so I took that concept, applied it to younger, more millennial type of audience,
Right.
and applied it to the idea of a male chasing after a female who is only in pursuit of God.
Right.
And so from that, I use that to tell the story.
Okay.
And that was really my basis. But I really just wanted to focus on kind of how, I really just wanted to focus on those two sides.
Yeah.
And bringing them together to see that, we can reach a mutual standing. Everything isn't extremely white and black.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right. And then from when I watched the movie, it's just you was the lady, your main protagonist, Elise, who was again all in pursuit of God, and then I forget his name, the male protagonist,
Mike. Yeah.
who was about his money and his cars, and he just wanted to pursue her, but she said, "No, you want me? You got to get next to God." So. Okay, so was that part of the love story and her, not only the love story of the two mutual people, but her love of God and the
her love
church?
for God,
Okay.
was bigger in order for him to, like you said, get through get to her, he had to go to God first.
Right.
Which turned into a whole nother story in itself. So.
Yes. What is the lesson that you hope that people take away from chasing after you?
There are a lot of, I guess, hidden, or not even hidden, but just plain sight messages you can get from watching Chasing After You. But one of the lessons is that the lesson will always be better than the prize. And so that just speaks to kind of Mike's pursuit of Elise, where he ended up, pursuing her, and so many things happened in the process to where it ended up just being a life lesson for him, and the same for her. She was running, and she, in so many ways, ended up getting humbled, that it turned out to be more of a just teaching moment for both of them.
Right. Okay. So that's definitely a lesson we can all take in life. It's more than the what's on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
That can see a lot of things are deeper. Okay, I like that. So what is, besides it being your first feature film, why is Chasing After You special to you?
Aside from being my first feature film, it was my first story that I directly told about God.
Okay.
And just human, like people having a relationship with God.
Right.
And how everything kind of works together for those, in his presence. And so from, after I made Chasing After You, I decided that I wanted to continue to make faith-based films. So this is just the first of many.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of many. I'm glad you said that, because that's kind of good into our next question. Do you have any upcoming projects that we can hear about and get a little insight on?
I actually do. So I am working on kind of a Bible study series. It's going to be called the God Move series. It's 3 films, 3 short films, all with different themes that you can take different teaching moments from. The first one is called Astray, the Justification of Grace. We actually shot that about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
And thank you. And we're editing it. I'm editing it right now, and so I'm about halfway through the edit. But the next one is gonna be called Meeting Boom.
Meeting Boom?
Boom.
Okay.
Yes. And then the last one is called All the Time in the World. And so I think where I've ended up going with the second one, Meeting Boom, is I might flesh it out to actually be a feature film.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll still be, in the series.
Right.
So that is what you guys have to look forward to, if you are looking forward to.
I am looking forward to
Right, I am very much looking forward to.
Awesome. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm hoping to kind of have them all done by the end of next year. I know I'll probably at the latest have the first one finished by January.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is Christmas, but we getting really close.
Right, really close to
there,
Christmas. So we
yeah.
only got about 20 days exactly. Yeah.
So, 20 days. So.
Yeah.
Pray
You
for
spend
my
hours
computer.
and hours in the editing room. You can do it. I know from experience, but you're gonna be in there for hours.
Yeah.
So many hours.
Exactly.
How long did it take, though, for you to, if you can remember, how many
Mm-hmm.
hours did you think it took you to edit that first feature film, Chasing After You? Because it
I
takes-
don't. How many hours?
yeah, if you can.
I actually, okay, so
Estimate.
if you look in the credits, as you can see, it's like 5 editors on there.
Right.
Because in the beginning we had assigned scenes for
Mm-hmm.
people, and so I had, like I said, I had help doing it, but once I realized, like, whoa, this is too much. This is a lot.
Right.
I kind of stopped for a minute, and when I say a minute, I mean like a whole like 6 months.
Okay.
Because I was really ready to give up. So when I guess, I don't know how many hours. A long time. It took a long time. That's all I know.
Right. Okay.
Is that it took a long time, but it's done now. So I guess I would say maybe I could say 100 hours.
100 hours. I'll
That's
figure.
75.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
you're thinking 100 hours. So, okay.
Yeah. It took a lot of time.
That is
a lot of hours.
time.
I don't know. I don't have a date. I mean, an
Like
actual
an exact
like,
time, but
yeah.
approximately, that's approximately 100 hours, which is, yeah, that's definitely time in the editing room, because it's hot, and the computers are not always, want to do what you want to do when they just say, you know what, I'm going to sleep right now.
Yeah, so, you have computer complications, you just have straight frustration.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
process, for sure.
It's a real journey.
Yeah. How can, I know you said that you do freelance videography even still, even with the filmmaking. So how can one get in touch with you? And I'm assuming you also like assist others with films
absolutely.
and whatnot. So how can one get in touch with you again if they want to help get their film off the ground, or if they just want to hire you to do their for their project?
So I have a company called the Brianna Films, where I do most of my freelance work, videography, and you could just go to thebriannafilms.com. You could also follow me on Instagram, add me on Facebook at the Brianna Films, and if you want to like collaborate, well, you could just inbox me on Instagram at PAY page, PAIGE page, or you could Instagram me on my network called Gold Television. That's gold.television on Instagram, or you could just go to goldtelevision.net.
All right. And what advice would you give to any upcoming aspiring filmmakers, or really anyone that wants to be in the arts and the visual arts?
I would say a few things.
Okay.
Don't be discouraged. Please be patient. You have to be patient. It forces you to be patient. And just if you really want to do it, you'll realize that you can't quit. So just be patient. If you are spiritual, include God, and keep believing in yourself, and people will believe in you. So
awesome.
Yeah,
That should be our quote for today.
Keep believing in yourself and keep believing in you. I liked it. I like it as a quote, but that doesn't let you off the hook. You still have to give your quote. What is your ultimate goal for your filmmaking career? Like, what do you hope to do? 100 movies or Hollywood movies? What is Mrs. Page? What is Brianna Films? What is the goal there?
My main goal is to just be able to create quality work on a full-time basis, but also work that has a message. And as I said before, I will continuously do faith-based films. So as long as I'm able to tell the stories that God wants me to tell, I'll be satisfied. So
okay, all right, I like that. And I like that to end with. But if there's anything else you'd like to share with our audience, any last-minute advice or words or anything else, please feel free.
If you want to collaborate, you can hit me up on goldtelevision.net. And, yeah, I'm happy to be here. So
right.
Thank you again for having me.
I almost forgot this, and this is very important. Where can we find your movie or movies?
Oh, okay. So you can go to goldtelevision.net, www.goldtelevision.net. and go to the catalog tab, you'll see like coming soon. You'll see a film on there called Fortunate, It's Not Yours, As Far. All of those are on the website. And Chasing After You will be coming to streaming platforms very, very soon.
Okay.
So I would say look out for that. But just follow Chasing After You Film on Facebook, Instagram, to kind of keep up where you can, watch that film. Also, we'll be having screenings.
Okay.
We'll be having screenings to like different youth groups. I'm also, just opening, our platform up to organizations and stuff like that who want to, show the film.
Awesome.
So that's where you can find it. And again, thanks for having me.
You're welcome, and thank you for coming on. And we, first, I enjoyed the film. I haven't finished watching it yet, but I enjoyed what I've seen so far. And so we appreciate that, and we appreciate you making, and we can help you continue to make good, again, quality content, and continue to hear good things from you. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. When we come back, we're going to have Kadira's quote and the Quad Squad's final thought right here on Live in the D with Miss CBB. We'll be right back.
It's live.
Live.
In the D with Mr. BB.
It's Live in the D with Mr. BB every Thursday at 9 a.m. right here on WVI 107.3 Radio We Can See.
That's why I had to say, come follow me, come follow me. That's why I had to say, come follow me, come follow me. That's why I had to say, come follow me now, right now.
All right, we are back. You are still sitting live in the D with Mr. BB. We just want to thank Miss Paige, Brianna, for coming on and talking to us. You can find her at Page on Instagram, as well as go to her website, goldtelevision.net to check out her films and check out her network, Gold Television, on Instagram and Facebook, and check out those films. All right, before we end for the day, we're going to have Miss Kadira's quotes, as well as the answers you all put on our social media for this week's question. What do you got for us, Kadira? What's this week's quote?
Well, Mr. BB, glad you asked. This week's quote is, today's quote on Live with Mr. BB is, are you ready for it, Mr. BB?
We're ready.
Alrighty then. Today's quote is, your mind is a powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change.
Wow. Yes. Your mind is a positive thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. I like it. I love it. Let's let it resonate for like 5 seconds. 4. All right. And now on, thank you, Ms. Kadira, for that wonderful quote. And our question for today, for this week, was
counting down
to 2020. What is a goal you want to meet before the end of the decade? And you all put some answers in. One person said, start to forge my career. Taking the first step is the hardest. Get my driver's license. All right.
I have a couple actually as well, Mr. BB.
Okay, hold on. All right. We have more. We got a lot this week. Become a certified technician to get a 600 scratch series. I don't know what that is. Start my days earlier. That's a good one. I think a lot of us could use that.
We do.
And that is all. Yes, that is all the answers I have. What do you got for us, Ms. Kadira? What answers do you have on?
Someone said make it to 2020 and start their art portfolio.
Wonderful goal. I like that.
And someone else said they don't have any goals, but they are about to have a daughter, so they want to see her in 2020.
Okay,
nice.
Congratulations on your daughter and your upcoming child. And yes, we hope that you will make a wonderful parent. All right, that is all the time we have here today. We thank you all for joining us right here on Live in the D with Mr. BB. Remember to tune in with us next week and stay abrupt and check out Miss Paige Brianna Films on GoTelevision.net. Check out her Instagram page at PayPage. Check out her Facebook page. And be back here next week on Live in the D with Mr. BB. Mr. BB and the Quad Squad are out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy birthday, dear Elise. Happy birthday to you.
The scriptures say here in Mark chapter 4, verse 15, some people are like seed along the path where the word is sown. And as soon as they hear it, Satan comes and takes away the word that was sown in them.
What is wrong?
I told you. We can't do this no more.
See, the devil likes to use our past to distract us from what God has planned for the future.
How much you had?
Less than yours.
Like 12 pounds.
The crazy thing about it is that I love you. And you do me like this?
I messed up so bad this time.
Your life is not what you understand in your mind, but what you believe in your heart. And sometimes we gotta let go of what we know and embrace what is yet to come.
I'm going to Texas. I want you and Ryan to come with me.
You doing all this stuff, Elise, and you not telling me nothing.
So you keeping yourself occupied as usual?
I thought I told you about him and his knucklehead brother.
This is my life, Elise.
And know that the love of Jesus is confirmed that whatever you are going through, it is not the end. You gotta believe that everything is gonna be all right.
I don't belong to anybody but God.